Okay, so now I'll move to the next topic, product safety. This is very critical in the standard. That's the ultimate purpose of the standard, safety and reliability. Again, here they are very simple requirement. The organization must plan, implement, control the processes needed to assure product safety. They use the one word simply, you have to assure the product safety during entire product life cycle, as applicable or as appropriate to the organization and the product. If I am dealing a non-critical item, which is even non-airworthy, my controls may be minimal. But if I am doing a critical item, which has a KC, which may have a direct impact on product, form, fit, function, performance, safety, so I need to apply some additional controls, right? So here 9100 doesn't recommend any methodology how to assure product safety. You may be an integrator, you may be a machining industry, you may be providing just heat treatment services, or you are doing just welding, whatever you do, you should have a process to assure product safety. So there are some, again, note they have given. Your processes may include this: assessment of hazard and management of associated risk. This hazard, again, we need to consider how my product is going to behave when it is going to be in use, when it is assembled at my next stage, right? In that context, product safety context, we have to identify the hazards, assess the hazards, and manage risk associated to those hazards. Then we came to know it is a critical item or not. In this process, if you identify that is a critical item, you can further classify it as a safety critical item, right? Then include that in your operational methodology, address it in your control plan or drawing, whatever the controls you want to adopt it. After this, after delivery, post delivery, if anything is happened, any events has occurred with respect to safety, analyze it, report it, right? Then communicate those type of events and train the relevant personnel. These are the simple steps recommended by 9100. But it's up to us to decide at what context you are going to deploy. Typically, IAQG also put some guideline how to deal with the product safety. So they are recommending us to follow this 6M. When you are developing a product, consider these type of methodologies. So what can go wrong with respect to man? For example, competency, personal certification, motivation of the employee, human factor, right? That is very critical in AS 9100, entire AS series of standard. Their psychological aspect, their attitude, right? Then machine specific considerations, like the program, who is having control on the CNC program. Can operator can modify the programs, or it's only authorized people can do that, right? What type of maintenance mechanism we have on the machine, those we can consider. Then material, again, selection of supplier, FOD, counterfeit part control. So this may or that one of the direct factor which can contribute to this product safety. Methods, so there our APQP come into picture. Risk analysis, FMEA, you can adopt that. And what are the requirements you want to flow down to an operator, flow down to your inspectors. Then measurement, what type of instrument we have chosen, what is the frequency of calibration of those instruments, MSA methodology. These were all fully guidelines and voluntary requirements. It's up to you to decide what is the complexity of your product and process. And of course, mother nature, temperature, humidity, how it is going to affect my product safety, vibration, right? So these are some of the consideration we need to do with respect to product safety. See, this is 1-2 example which is given by IAQG. I am putting it. See, look at this. When we are implementing 9100, we need to think this aspect. Typically, this incident happened during in-flight. I think it's self-explanatory. Just read it. You came to know where exactly the causes, the cause. Look at the cause. Somewhere in the supply chain, an employee have selected wrong hardware that causes this particular damage. That's why standard says in 7.3, What is my contribution to achieve product safety? That awareness we have to create. Then one more example I could say here. FOD in raw material. Typically, we do verify the physical properties, chemical properties, mechanical properties of a raw material, right? Metals. But look at this. There is 0.8 mm length of impurity in the raw material that causes crack and that create damaged engine. A lot of examples even given by IAQG. So these are some of the considerations we need to do with respect to product safety, right? So any specific questions on this product safety? Then I'll move two more slides, then I'll open for questions. There is 3 standards we have mentioned, a certifiable standard. One is 9100 for manufacturers, 9110 for MRO, 9120 for stockists, dealers and distributors. So all these 3 standards are based on entire ISO 9000 requirement. They have added some additional requirements. So whatever the additional requirement we have seen, these are all again going to reflect in other 2 standards. 9120, this is the standard for stockists, resellers and distributors. They have some more additional requirement in addition to this. This is applicable people who are procuring the products, do some assembly and reselling the product, right? For them it is applicable. Either you do whatever the activity, storaging, splitting, packaging, preservation, anything if you do as part of a dealer distributor, this is applicable. So here FOD controls are very crucial, and how you are going to deal the COC. Most of the time when we are dealing with the dealers and distributors, one of the critical factor is most of the time dealers distributor doesn't give a proper or adequate certificate, test certificate about the product, right? So those type of consideration here addressed in 9120. Some of the few things I am highlighting here. Same way 9110, this is for MRO industries. Either you do line maintenance, base maintenance, tire maintenance, engine maintenance, anything you do on aircraft, this standard is applicable. There are unique requirement in all these 3 standards. You should have MR. MR is mandatory in all these 3 standards, and MR should have authority to reach top management to discuss about quality management system issue. In addition to MR, in 9110, actually there is an error. This should be 9110 in the title, right? So in 9110, you should have appoint accountable manager and quality manager. There is one requirement here. And people who are involving in continuing airworthiness management or maintenance activity, there should be enough qualified in line with the regulatory authority. This is highly regulated industry, MRO business, so they have to take care of this. And one critical requirement is human factor. That is a completely different subject. Particularly in MRO industry, human factor playing a vital role. There are some controls addressed in the standard that needs to be complied. So these are all some of the things I would like to highlight with respect to AS 9100 series of standards. Okay, so up to this, any specific questions?